Okay, so let's unpack this.
Mhm.
You're planning a trip to Hawaii.
Right.
Specifically, you're going to Oahu, and you have this massive kind of overwhelming checklist in your head.
Mhm.
You know you have to see Pearl Harbor because, well, it's Pearl Harbor. It's essential history. It's why so many people go.
It is, but you also want the vacation part.
Exactly. The vacation, you want the North Shore, you want to see the surfers,
Mhm.
maybe eat some garlic shrimp from a truck,
With that line down the block, yeah.
and maybe spot a sea turtle. And usually, if you look at a normal itinerary, those are two totally different days.
Oh, at least. Maybe even 3 days, depending on traffic.
Right. But today, we're doing a deep dive into something that claims you can actually do it all in one single day.
Which is a bold claim.
It is. We're looking at a specific tour from a company called Halia Private Tours.
Mm.
It's their private Pearl Harbor and Oahu Island tour combo. And looking at the sources you brought in, I mean, the brochures, the pricing, the reviews, all these photos, it feels less like a travel pamphlet and more like a lesson in logistics.
It's a logic puzzle. That is exactly the right way to frame it.
How so?
Because visiting Oahu presents this really unique conflict for a traveler.
The Oahu paradox. Okay, break that down.
Well, think about it. On one hand, you have Pearl Harbor. It's solemn. It's strictly
From
regulated.
federal security, bag checks, the whole thing.
Exactly. Rigid ticket times, a really heavy historical weight, something you feel you have to do and you want to do it respectfully. It's not fun, you know.
Right.
It's meaningful.
Right. It's the anchor of the trip. You don't go there to party.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But then on the other side of the island and the other side of the emotional spectrum, you have the vacation, the North Shore, the surf culture, the 7-mile miracle. It's chaotic, it's loose, it's pure recreational fun. And the problem is these two things are physically and emotionally opposites.
So our mission for this deep dive is to figure out how this combo tour tries to bridge that gap. Okay, so let's start with the friction point. The anchor. Pearl Harbor.
Hmm?
It's clear this isn't just a quick stop.
No, and this is where a lot of people get tripped up. If you've never been, you might imagine like a single museum building you walk into.
Look at some stuff. Walk out.
Right. But the source material is very explicit. It says the Pearl Harbor National Memorial Visitor Center is mostly outdoors and involves quite a bit of walking.
Which sounds like a simple line, but when you think about it,
Yeah.
you're in the tropics. It's humid.
The sun is beating down. It's a sprawling campus. You've got the visitor center, the 2 museums, the pass to the boat for the USS Arizona.
And that's not even everything.
Not at all. If you want to see the battleship Missouri, or the Bowfin submarine, or the Aviation Museum, those are all separate areas. You're on shuttle buses, you're walking across tarmac. It is physically demanding.
I was just looking at one of the source photos, the one called Kissing Couple Close-Up.
Ah, the statue.
Yeah, that famous unconditional surrender statue, the sailor kissing the nurse.
And that image is so important because it highlights that duality of the site you were just talking about.
It really does. It strikes me as this weird intersection. You've got this massive tourist photo op people laughing, replicating the pose right next to a place of deep, profound mourning.
Managing that emotional and physical transition is the hard part.
And then there's the logistical challenge. The website says, and I'm quoting, "We recommend reserving tickets to the USS Arizona Memorial to help streamline the trip."
And that's a key insight. Because even if you book a private tour, the federal government controls the Arizona. The tour company can't just, bypass the Navy. You still have to play by their rules.
So that brings up the big question. If I still have to get the ticket myself and I still have to go through security like everyone else, what's the value of the private part? Why am I paying for this van and a guide?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the value isn't in skipping the line. It's in managing the buffer.
The buffer.
Yeah. The source says you can double the time at the visitor center if you're a history buff, or, and this is so crucial for families, you can cut it short.
Ah, okay, I see. The cut it short option.
Just imagine you have a toddler who's melting down because it's 85 degrees and humid,
I can imagine.
or an elderly parent who is they're struggling with the walking.
Yeah.
On a big 50-person bus tour, you are stuck. You're a hostage to that schedule.
Right.
With this private model, as soon as you hit that wall of fatigue, you pull the ripcord. You just say, okay, we've seen the Arizona, we're done. And you get back in the air-conditioned van and you leave.
So the flexibility is what they're selling. It's basically an insurance policy against a bad mood.
That's it. It turns a potential ordeal into a manageable morning.
So let's talk about the cost of that insurance, because we have to break down these tiers.
Mm-hmm.
The source lists 3 options, and the first thing that jumped out at me was the pricing. Flat group rates.
Yes, And this is the key takeaway for anyone who's budget-minded. Most tours charge per person,
Right. 4 people, 4 times the price.
but here they charge per vehicle, or for the group. The source says group rates from, which means
So the math is totally different if you're a family of 5 versus a solo traveler.
completely different. For a couple, it's a luxury splurge, no question.
Yeah.
But for a family of 6, I mean, you break that down per person, and it actually starts to compete.
Okay, so let's look at the menu. Tier 1, a half day,
Yeah.
6 hours. It starts at $6.99. They call this the Valor and Adventure Tour.
To me, looking at the map, this reads as the Essentials package. It says Pearl Harbor plus South Shore.
And South Shore is basically Honolulu and Waikiki.
Pretty much. You're not getting very far in 6 hours if half of it is at Pearl Harbor. So you get the history, then maybe a quick drive through the city, see the King Kamehameha statue, a lookout point maybe.
So who buys this one? I mean, if you've flown all the way to Hawaii, why only do 6 hours?
Based on that walking fatigue warning, I'd say this is for the low stamina traveler.
Yeah.
Maybe you have little kids who still nap. Maybe you have a flight to catch at 5 p.m. You check the box on Pearl Harbor, see a bit of town, and you're done. It's safe.
Got it. Okay, stepping up. Tier 2. The full day. 9 hours, starting at $7.99. This one is called the Circle Island Tour.
Okay, now we're getting into a proper road trip.
Mm.
This is where the whole landscape just shifts. You're leaving the city behind.
The itinerary lists stuff like the Pali Lookout and the Byodo Temple.
Right, and just look at the math again. The 6-hour tour is $6.99. The 9 hour is $7.99.
Wait, so for an extra $100, you get 3 more hours.
Exactly. That's a 50% increase in time for, what, a 14% increase in price?
Yeah.
The 9-hour option opens up those lush green, Jurassic Park-looking mountains.
But then there's Tier 3, the long day. 12 hours. Starts at $8.99.
And this is the completionist package. And again, look at that marginal cost. Another $100 buys you another 3 hours.
Right.
But more importantly, it buys you range.
Geography again?
Geography is everything on an island. I mean, the traffic in Oahu is no joke.
So the 12-hour option, the sunrise to sunset one, is the only way to actually stop and, exist in those places without constantly checking your watch.
Correct. It buys you the luxury of not rushing.
And let's talk about what existing there looks like, because the visuals are so striking. We have this image, Sunset Beach on the North Shore.
Describe it. What are you seeing?
It's a postcard. I mean, the water is that electric turquoise, the sand is white, there are palm trees leaning over the beach. It's the complete opposite of the gray steel battleships we started with.
And that visual contrast explains why this whole combo tour even exists. People want both. They want the gray battleship and the turquoise water. They just don't know how to weave them together.
So once you leave Pearl Harbor and you head toward that water, the source material gives you this huge list of potential stops. It's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, they break it down into nature, culture, and food. And this is where the customizable claim really gets tested.
Okay, let's start with food, because it lists some heavy hitters. Giovanni's Shrimp Truck, Leonard's Bakery, the Dole Plantation,
and Matsumoto Shave Ice. These are cultural staples. Leonard's is famous for malasadas, the Portuguese donuts.
Then you look at nature and you've got Diamond Head, Manoa Falls, Waimea Valley.
And this is where we have to apply a filter, because the FAQ in the source material makes this really important distinction that I think is brilliant. It asks, what counts as an activity stop?
Oh, I saw that. It distinguishes between an activity and a photo stop.
Right. This is such a crucial mental model for you to have. A photo stop, like the Halona Blowhole or the Kamehameha statue, that's a 10-minute leg stretcher.
Hop out, snap a picture, hop back in.
Exactly. Done. Versus an activity.
An activity?
An activity like hiking Diamond Head or swimming, that's going to eat up 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Yeah.
It means changing shoes, buying tickets, sweating, cooling down. The physics of time still apply. You can't cheat the clock. The tour gives you the vehicle, but you have to prioritize what's on the menu.
And that's where the human element comes in. We have to talk about the reviews because they highlight something critical about that decision-making process.
There's a review from Tracy P. She says he was so great with the kids, giving information on the coral, fish, and history.
And another one says, we have quite a mixed people in our family, and he was able to make it a great experience for all.
That phrase, a mix of people, that is the key. We have a photo here. Look at that group.
Yeah, I'm looking at 7 people on the grass. You've got an older couple, parents, and some teenagers.
Right. And it looks like a lovely family photo. But as someone who studies travel logistics, I look at that photo and I see a potential nightmare.
What was laughing, the Petru?
It looks so peaceful.
Because think about the reality of it. The teenager wants to go surfing. The grandfather wants to read every single plaque at the Arizona Memorial. The toddler needs a snack right now.
And the mom just wants one nice picture where everyone's looking at the camera.
And you're saying the guide's job is to triage that whole mess. He isn't just a driver, he's a mood manager. He knows which shrimp truck has the shortest line so the toddler doesn't melt down. He knows how to engage the kids with facts about coral while the adults talk history. He bridges the gap.
There's another photo here that's a totally different demographic.
The honeymooners. Must be. The woman has these beautiful white floral leis. They look very, very chill.
And that shows the range, right? For Mr. King and his wife, the guide's value is different. It's not crisis management, it's romance and documentation.
What do you mean?
The reviews specifically say the guides take amazing pictures for you.
Which seems like such a small thing, but on a honeymoon?
It's huge. Otherwise, your whole album is just selfies with your arm in the shot or photos where one of you is missing. Having someone else who knows the angles at the lookout points, that is a tangible service.
I want to circle back to the hidden gems that are mentioned. Because in all the standard stuff, the shrimp, the pineapples, there was one option that stood out.
It invites you to make your combination tour experience even more memorable by adding a stand-up paddle or kayak excursion. This option is about interaction.
It mentions spotting sea turtles.
From water level.
Yeah.
It grounds the whole experience. Instead of just looking at the island from a van window, you are literally in the ecosystem. If it starts raining on the North Shore, you pivot. If you're not hungry for shrimp, you skip it. If your kids fall asleep, you just keep driving.
It's structured improvisation.
That is a great phrase for it. Structured improvisation. You lock in the things the government controls, and you freestyle the things the island controls.
And what about the money? We touched on the flat rate.
You have to compare it to the alternative to really see the value.
Okay.
If you're that group of 5 or 6,
Yeah.
calculate renting a car big enough for everyone.
And gas is expensive in Hawaii.
Yes, plus $10 or $20 parking fees at every single stop. Or, compare it to Uber.
Yeah.
An Uber XL from Waikiki to the North Shore is incredibly expensive. And then trying to get one back, good luck.
Plus the stress. I mean, who wants to be the designated driver on vacation in a place with heavy traffic where you don't know the roads?
That's the invisible cost. Decision fatigue. The value here isn't just the nice van. It's the removal of all that friction. You just get in, you say, I want shrimp, and you arrive at shrimp. You don't worry about parking. You don't worry about rush hour.
It effectively buys you the luxury of just being a passenger.
And in a place as complex as Oahu, where you're trying to do 2 or 3 days worth of activities in one go, that luxury is significant. It changes the whole day from a project to an actual vacation.
So we've unpacked this Halia private tours, Pearl Harbor and island combo. It's a tool for tackling that Oahu paradox. It lets you move from the solemnity of the Arizona to the joy of a shave ice without fighting the traffic in between.
It's a friction reducer. I think that's the best way to describe it.
And that leads me to my final thought for you, the listener. We live in this age of infinite information. You can go online right now. You can find the maps, book the tickets, rent the car. You can do all of this yourself. We're all our own travel agents now.
You certainly can, and a lot of people do.
But here's the question. Is the ultimate luxury in travel today not about how fancy the hotel is or how much the dinner costs, but simply having someone else make all the little micro decisions for you? Is true freedom just the ability to sit in the passenger seat, look out the window at the ocean, and not have to care where the next turn is?
That is a question worth asking. In a world of information overload, maybe the best souvenir you can bring home is a clear mind.
Something to think about while you're planning your next adventure. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.